thanks, you guys, for the opportunity to come here. So Brad, I guess we got to know each other through an acquaintance in the Entrepreneurs Organization. And being able to do something like this, it's hard because most of my presentations are usually done to for employees and staff members. And thinking of what to put together that could actually be of value to you guys. And so I didn't want to come into a presentation telling everything that you could probably read out of a book. Instead, I wanted to tell you about me and my experience of building a business. I wanted to share with you some of the struggles. I wanted to, in essence, get naked. Just share with you the pains of what it's like. Share with you my vulnerabilities, the times that I made mistakes, the times that I was buckled in a corner crying, wondering if I'm going to make it or not. And then those times when you're super excited and you feel like you're on top of the world and you can conquer anything. So just a little bit about me. I love to travel. It's my wife probably gets a little upset about it because every 2 months I'm already booking something. It's got to be something elaborate. So this is my 10-year-old boy and I. We just got finished going to Machu Picchu and did a little humanitarian project. As mentioned by Brad, beautiful wife Melissa, who is here, and then I guess I don't need to come over here. And then my 4 boys and a little girl. Yes, we're a little bit wacky as a family, but somehow it works. So oftentimes you'll see charts that look like this. What people don't see in the charts is they don't see the stories behind that. And so I want to tell you a little bit about the story of Landmark Home Warranty and what's helped us get to that point, and in between those first few years. So it was about 2005, and I had the opportunity, well, my wife and I had an acquaintance couple that we used to hang out with, and the gentleman had an auto warranty business, and at the time I was working for as a sales representative for a telecommunications company. I was making decent money. I mean, at that time I was, I think, 25 roughly, and I was making probably $50,000 or $60,000 a year. It was okay money, small family. I was frustrated with the environment that I was in. I was frustrated because I felt like the CEO of the company, it was a company of about 2,200 employees, was the CEO, CFO, CMO, CIO. She wanted to dominate everything that went on in the organization. And we found that things started happening in that company as a sales rep, that we started having spiffs and incentives and all that kind of stuff pulled away. And it made it more challenging to really be motivated to go out and work hard for your company. And so one day that CEO had flown in, and here I was, a little peon in the company, just a little sales rep. And I walked up to her and I asked her, hey, you know what? I'm one of your sales reps here in Utah. I'm a very consistent performer. In fact, our team is one of the top teams in the nation. But there's something that would help us, is just being able to have a little extra motivation. I've gone to our supervisors and our regional managers and boss and asked if we could get this, and they keep saying no, corporate won't allow it. And so I'm asking you, can we get extra incentives? I don't care if it's like a $50 gift card, $25 gift card, just something to motivate us beyond what we get paid. And this was almost verbatim the response that I got. Hey, you have a job to do. You get paid to do it. Just go out and do it. And that to me was like a massive eye-opener of, who am I working for? I'm going to spend the years of my life working for someone that sees me as a number, that sees me as really just a small piece in an organization that they could care less about my future. And so that was that moment that clicked in me of, I don't care what it is that I do, I am going to find something on my own. I don't care if it's a garbage collecting company. I don't care if it's starting a pill dispensing company. I don't care what it was. And my wife had purchased me my little black book of ideas. And so I had all my little ideas that I would jot down. And so at that time, the couple that my wife and I used to hang out with, this guy, and this was all happening around the same time, this guy owned an auto warranty company. And on the outside, things were glamorous. He had a Porsche. He had a nice house. It was just like, this is the life. I would love to have something like that. I'd love to be in that type of a position. And so as we'd hang out, we'd frequently talk, hey, you know what, maybe we could go into business together. Maybe this might be an opportunity. And so he starts sharing me about the lonely road of being a business owner. And maybe there is an opportunity we can do something together. And his wife's like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to ruin a relationship in this. I don't want to sever a friendship over this. But as stubborn husbands, we're like, yeah, that would never happen. So we start going down that road and we start pursuing an opportunity to do business together. Well, fast forward about 6 months. We had gone down that road, and I discovered a lot about an individual. Someone might be a really good person, a really good husband, a really good father, but that does not equate to a good business owner. And that was a shocker to me. I was a very naive person at that time. I started finding things out that they had been kicked out of one state. They had been fined $150,000 in one state. There were people, I found an old business partner and got a whole different story. And I started getting so deep into this opportunity, but I didn't want to be in a position where my family was getting harmed for going down that road. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in a position where your life where you're going down a pathway and you're like, man, this is it. And then all of a sudden it's like you have to back out 6 months of your life of something that you've put into. And that's what I felt like. It was hard. It was a tough decision. It was probably one of the hardest decisions in my life of, do I go down this pathway or do I start something on my own? If I start something on my own, could it be a business like his? But now I don't want to damage that relationship. I made the decision to not go into business with him. My wife can probably attest, there were many, many nights, there were sleepless nights of trying to decide what to do. We decided that we were going to start our own company. It was called Landmark Warranty. We didn't want to compete against this individual. So we started it in the state of Michigan, here in Utah. Why Michigan? Because it was a really easy state to go into. They were looking for anybody and everybody that could come in and do business there. And again, this is the naive part of me. In my mind, it was, a business is easy. I go read a couple books on dummies, because I'm the dummy. I go read a couple books on accounting, marketing, whatever it might be. I don't necessarily need a business plan. I go find a little bit of money, and I go out and I start selling. That's what I was good at. I could go sell. So I did just that. I needed a little bit of money, so I got my dad together, and we became partners in a business to go out and start a business. And in a few months, we had a product, an auto warranty product, selling business in Michigan. I called on some dealerships in Michigan. I sold one contract, and that one contract just hosed me over. It was the worst experience in business that I've had. In fact, at that point, I just put a kibosh on it. I stopped selling anything after that one product. And I had put a lot of work into something, and I had failed miserably. And I don't know if you guys have been in a position in your life where you have just been kicked to the dirt, but something happened. I started getting phone calls, people asking me, hey, do you sell home warranties? Because my name, Landmark Warranty, was in the Yellow Pages. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's a book. It's about this big. Kids use it to sit on nowadays. They actually open it and look up numbers. So people would open up this yellow book, and they would look for warranty companies. They'd find a company called Landmark Warranty, not knowing if it's home or auto. So I start getting these calls. Hey, are you a home warranty? No. Are you a home warranty company? No. Are you a home warranty company? No. And finally, my wife's like, what the crap, Alma? Why don't you start a home warranty company? I'm like, how could you put that kind of trust in me after I've pretty much taken our family down a road where I've spent all of our money, I'm indebted to my father, I failed at a business, and you're now encouraging me to go at it again? And the lesson that I learned about that is, are you surrounded by the people that can build you up? The people that can encourage you even when you're failing. So I started going down that pathway of looking into starting a home warranty company. Things I did differently this time. I researched the industry like crazy. I took about 6 months of calling on real estate agents, asking them, hey, And a little background, we generally go out and work with realtors and title officers, and they sell our home warranty product to homeowners at the time of closing on a home. And so I would call up realtors, hundreds of them, asking them, hey, what do you like about your company that you're working with? What do you dislike? What are the struggles? What are the challenges? I almost got a job with one of the competitors. I asked what their sales tactics were, what their process was. I got to know the industry extremely well. Before then, I didn't know a lick about home warranty companies. I have that asked all the time from people. Man, what's your background? You must have been in some other insurance company. No, I was a salesman. Had nothing to do with home warranties. And anytime I was driving around in the car, radio turned off, thinking about what are things that I can do or build of a higher value than the other competitor out there. And so just ideas started coming to me based off of people's pain points. I found those pain points and I created a solution. Very simple. And so that's how I built my program. The Landmark Home Warranty Program is finding something that was unique about us. And so when I was doing my presentations, it was a little bit easier to automatically go in and just anticipate what those pain points were. So my first presentation, one of my first presentations was about September of 2005. I had gone into a company, it's called Lewis Walcott Dornbush. It's the real estate office that was probably one of these top real estate agents where everyone's decked out in nice outfits. They all work up in Park City, Deer Valley. They sell multi-million-dollar homes. I'm sitting around a boardroom table with about 15 agents that are just intimidating. Again, this is one of my very first presentations, and I start getting grilled with questions. Well, what happens if you have a water heater that has this issue? What happens if the homeowner has this issue? What happens if you got a cracked heat exchanger? And almost every single one of those responses, I'm like, I don't know, I'll get back to you on that one. I'll find out about that one and get it back to you. I don't know, I'll find out about that one. And then finally, one of the gals, Leslie Stratton, asks me, who owns this company? What kind of organization is this? Well, I do. That's a humbling moment to be in there selling a product, you're the owner, and to not have those answers. But I learned something out of that moment. Before I went into that meeting, I had memorized every single individual in their office based off of their website. And so when they walked through the front door or through the doors of the boardroom, hey, Leslie, hi, John, hey, Sue, how are you? I was showing them that I cared about them. I was showing them that I may not be the guy that has every nice marketing piece. In fact, my marketing cost me $300 at the start of the company. My website, I think, was about $500. So I had to have something else that could get me there besides the technology or the marketing or the money behind it. Looking on the website and memorizing their names, free. I can do that. I got my first order out of that, one of my first orders out of that office, out of that meeting. And so again, I learned you do not always have to have the best marketing. You do not always have to have the cleanest website. You can go out and kill it by actually just loving the customer or the client. In the beginning, this is a piece that I loved. I was the sales manager, the claims manager, the accountant, the customer service rep, and I was the cleaning lady. I did it all. And I learned every piece of the business. And I didn't feel in the beginning that anything was beneath me. And to this day, with over 150 employees, there is nothing that is beneath me. If it means I take a phone call for a customer, I'll take a phone call. If it means I'm walking by our office and I see trash on the floor, I'll get out the broom and sweep it up. I do not keep employees within my organization that feel that a status or a title puts them above anybody else in the organization to where they don't have to step in and help because it's not my job. That's a bunch of garbage. And that's like the ultimate destruction of my culture, is to find, well, it's not my job or it's beneath me. So in 2006, business started going well. At this time, I was still working for my telecommunications company. I didn't have very much money. One of my first years at Landmark in 2005, I sold $6,000 worth of product. I thought, this is awesome, but I'm only personally making maybe $500 a month, give or take. And so I ran into some problems. And one of the big problems was I have my first, not a problem, but it was a challenge. My first boy, Connor, was born with open heart surgery. Born with a congenital heart defect, thus having open heart surgery. And I was working for a larger company, had their health insurance. And so the challenge of going out on your own, starting a business on your own, and getting insurance by yourself, near impossible. I went out to 3 different insurance companies because I wanted to try to step away from my day job as a telecommunications sales rep and move full-time into the company that I was building. I got denied 3 times from different insurance companies. And it's painful. It's painful when you see an opportunity to go after something and it's just like roadblock, roadblock, and it just puts it right in your face and you don't know what to do. And I had been working half and half time. Well, cost of Cobra for us was at that time, it was $1,000 per month. I was making about $500 a month with the company that I'm building. I still got a decent salary, but I have no money in the bank from my other company that I had spent. And so there was a time when my wife, it was in February, and I remember this, I've got it written in my journal, February of 2006. And my wife and I were having a healthy conversation, maybe a dispute, maybe a fight. You guys don't have those, right? And we're having a healthy conversation, and my wife's conversation with me was, hey, Alma, do you feel good about the fact that you're putting time into Landmark Home Warranty, but you're also getting paid a salary and commissions for a company that you're not giving it your all? Man, that's a blow. You start looking at your integrity as an individual. And I felt like, hey, I'm putting all this time into both. I'll bust it until 3 o'clock for my day job, and then I'll come after and I'll work 5 or 6 hours on Landmark Home Warranty. And I'm still hitting my sales numbers. But you know what? It rang true to me. I was not being true to myself, true to the company that's providing me that income. But I couldn't leave. I didn't have an opportunity. We would have been basically going underwater every single month. So the next day, after that healthy conversation, I went into my boss at my telecommunications company, and I told him I quit. I went home, told my wife, I quit. You did what? How can you quit? And I'm like, hold on, mixed signals here. You wanted me to quit. Well, not now. I'm like, okay, well, I've already done it. I quit, and that was one of those moments where you just put your arms around your spouse and you tell them we'll make it. We're going to make it. We're going to push through it. And I don't know, it's just having your back against the wall was a tough feeling, but such an amazing experience. So 2006 was my leap of faith moment for me. From that moment, it was awesome. I knew that I could be full-time. I could really start going out selling. I didn't have a lick of money. My marketing stunk. My website looked like garbage. But hey, you know what? That's okay. I can go out and I can meet people. I started realizing, though, that I can't do this on my own. I'm basically building a company where I'm trying to sell a product and service it at the same time. I have to be answering calls from people that are calling in to order, people that are calling in to open up claims, finding contractors, and I still have to sell at the same time. How can I keep doing the sales and have to service at the same time? So I needed some help, and I needed money. I needed an ability to go out there and hire people. So I went to a really close friend. He's my mission president, who at the time had a lot of money. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. And we're really close friends, almost like a second father. So I drove up to Idaho Falls to have a good conversation with him, presented my business plan, give him all the nuts and bolts of how this is going to work. And we're already making, we're already selling, and things are going well, and we're capturing market share. And this is what I need. I need about $50,000 to help get the business going by hiring 1 or 2 people. And he looks at me and he goes, do I look like a bank? I'm like, yeah, yes, you look like a bank. You got more money in your wallet than I have in my entire life savings. And he goes, why would I just give you money away? That is the most ineffective thing that I could do to you, and I would harm you by doing that. If you want me to invest in your company, sure, I'll do that, but I don't think you want that. So let me teach you how to get money. And I loved this moment. I loved learning how to get money. He started teaching me about the difference between investments, the difference between borrowing money from family, borrowing money from friends, getting family involved into your business, and just opening my eyes to seeing who has different emotions attached to that money. And he taught me about the banking industry. He taught me about how most people, when they go in and they get a loan, they speak with the young kid that's 23, 24 years old, that's possibly still in college or just getting out of college, and he's helping you get your little business loan. He goes, you got to go past that person. You got to go to the person that actually can make the decisions. And oftentimes in banking, they don't talk about the confidence level, what it means to walk into a banker and know what to say, to not have the ums or I think or possibly or maybe. All of a sudden, that just throws the deal down the drain. He talked about how the banking industry, what the approval process is like, and the board that looks over those loans, and the person that you're meeting with, how much influence they have, even when you don't have the collateral or the credit to be able to support you. Because here I am, I'm a kid that has nothing to my name. Nothing. Well, I have a house payment with a lot of debt, and a car payment with a lot of debt. But no money in the bank, and a business that really is barely producing anything. I learned about the things that I were to say to a banker. For example, sitting down with one of the bankers, I look this guy, here I am, I'm a 26-year-old kid, I'm like freaking out doing this. I'm sitting down with a banker and I look him in the eye and I say, look, my name is important in the business community. My goal is that I want us to build a relationship together. In 10 years, I want you to be my banker. When I come to you with a potential loan and you know that it's not going to go through, or you have any inclination that it's not going to go through, but you still take it to your board and you come back with a denial, which I know that your board speaks to other banks. And so I become someone in the community that's known as someone that gets denied. I will never do business with you again. I don't want to have that relationship. I want it to be a solid relationship. In one day, and that was a tough thing to do, in one day I walked away with $150,000 of unsecured line of credit with nothing to my name. That was a good experience to me about what confidence means in a business. You can have all the skills that can back it, but what is it that looking someone in the eye, having the right words, and being able to sell yourself means? Whether it's in a job interview, whether it's in starting a business, whether it's selling a vision to your employees. I don't know if I can't remember if it's on here, but the next, for example, my current VP of sales and now business partner, when he first came onto the company, which was at the latter part of 2006, he was cutting his salary in half to be able to come work for pretty much nothing but a dream and a hope. And that was selling that to him. It was nice that with that money, we were able to hire our first employee, and I was able to move out of my basement. I didn't have the little fingers coming under the door when I'm on a phone call. It's, Daddy! You're like, be quiet, I'm going to call. Eventually, we moved into the next office, which was 108 square feet. I remember because I paid $108 a month. It was awesome. It was a dungeon. I had no window. There was no window on the door. It was dark. I had my Costco fold-up table, my cell phone, and my laptop, and I was just dialing, making those phone calls. But back to the graph of the 30 million, people don't see that. They don't see that. What they see is they see the nice office. They see the nice car. They see the successful things that have been created, but they don't see you in a dungeon just dialing away after call after call after call. So 2006, we finished off the year at $206,000. There's my VP of Sales, Riley. Finding that right person, building a team of people that are there because they want to grow a business, not there just for a paycheck, for an opportunity. And those are the people that will stick by you and help you grow something incredible. It was 2007, we started rolling. It was like, man, we're good at sales. This is pretty cool. 2008 hit, and we had a couple of companies that started approaching us. Hey, we want to get out of the home warranty business. We'd love to have you guys come in and acquire us. This is awesome. Acquiring 2 companies, we'll be the largest local-based home warranty company in Utah. They're markets that we're struggling in, up in northern Utah and southern Utah. They obviously saw something about the economy that I didn't see, because I was focused on sales, and that was pretty much it. So we acquire Frontier, and we acquire Secure Home Warranty. And 2008 was a great year for us. However, I swear the day that I signed paperwork in October of 2008, here I'm taking on all of the liability of these companies with the expectation that I'm going to get all these sales that come in. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that thing that happened in 2008. But it's like the pipe just turned off, and all the sales just turned off. December of 2008. January of 2009. February of 2009. Every single month, I lost $60,000 a month. I admitted myself to the hospital one time. Had many times where I remember just being curled up in a ball, sitting on at my desk at my office, just thinking, what in the heck is going on? I had 2 choices. I had till about June of 2009 before the company was going to go under. And for many of you that have friends that were in this industry or at that time, there were a lot of companies that went under. And I was going down that pathway. I can fold up shop. I had paid off my line of credit, so I didn't have any debt at the time. Or I can just go for it. And I had read an article. Another thing that I did, one thing that I did wrong in that process is I didn't share it with people. I didn't share it with my team members. I kept it all inside. And that was the dumbest thing that I could have ever done. I put on this show like, oh yeah, you guys, everything's awesome, let's just go. And I held the financials, I held that information. And it should have been where I shared the weight or shared the burden. Being able to have other people that are there to help you with that type of a burden, I promise you, is one of the best things that will help you with your marriage and your family life and not having to take all that weight on. And so here I am bearing all this burden. And I read this article by Procter & Gamble, and it was about January, February of 2009, and it talks about how they stash away just oodles of cash during times of plenty, and then when a recession hits, they go out and they flood the market. And they're buying customers at a cheap price. And so I started looking at our marketing, which stunk. I looked at our footprint, which was small. I looked at our influence in the local market, which was okay. We did a couple of events, and people kind of knew us. And I thought, if I'm going to go for it, I'm all in. So I dipped back into my $150,000, and I flooded the market. I did a whole new marketing remake. We entered a new state. When other people were taking away their money from golf tournaments and things of the sort, we put more money in. We doubled down. And we started finding something happening that was miraculous. We were buying customers or clients at a much cheaper price. They started noticing, hey, who's this company, Landmark Home Warranty? They're the only ones that are showing up to the offices. Hey, they're the only ones that are coming to these events. Everybody else pulled away. Hey, they're the ones that are doing all these luncheons. They're the only ones that come in. Our market share went through the roof. And in 2009, instead of going down, we went up. We would go through offices and real estate offices, and people would ask us, are you guys okay? Are you guys doing, the market's horrible. Are you guys going to survive? And we're like, yeah, it's the best year we've ever had, but yeah, we're doing okay. I loved that time in the business. You just put your heads together, you find ways to shave off some costs, but you don't cut your marketing. And we just went for it. So 2009, come to the end. It's like, you know what, life is good. And it was almost like we had just dodged a bullet. And so I started feeling, hey, you know what? This is pretty cool. We can kind of coast. I've got people that are selling. And I started noticing something in the culture of my company. We were a small company, about 10 employees. But I noticed that I didn't come in the office very often. I would stay at home a little bit late. Stay at home, not coming into the office until later in the afternoon. And I noticed that employees started getting a little frustrated because they wanted to grow the business more than I wanted to grow the business. So here are some of the things that were a little bit about the life for me in 2009. Most of the decisions were coming through me. We didn't have any type of vision or direction of the company. We just sold. We sold stuff. We go out there and we sell stuff. We do a pretty good job at it. People didn't have specifically defined roles in the company. People didn't know exactly what it was, their purpose was, and what they were to do. I was the bottleneck, and I love the example. You know, the bottleneck is smallest where? Not at the bottom, but at the top. The top of the organization. Me, I was the bottleneck of the company. We didn't have any specific set processes for termination, meeting structure. It was just kind of like, you know what? We just kind of meet if we need to, and no one really had accountability. And so I had joined up with, at this time, an organization, EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. And in this group, I met this gal named Lisa Ridley. Lisa is a business coach, and I decided that we're going to bring Lisa on board. It's like a lot of money. It was one of those decisions. I don't know why I did it at the time. We just needed to have someone that helped us with kind of organizing the business. So in our very first meeting, Lisa sits down. It's like an 8-hour meeting. She's got my little mini executive team. We're in my small little office. And she sits down and she asks the question, what are your sales going to be next year? I'm like, I don't know, 2.5? Well, what is it? I don't know, like 2.3. Everybody's looking to me. Okay, well, what's your vision of the company? I don't know. What are the values of the company? I'm like, I don't know. Well, tell me about your hiring processes. Tell me about the termination processes. I don't know. We just sell. We sell stuff. That was an eye-opener, especially when my VP of sales, as we're walking out of the meeting, goes, dude, you just got slapped up the face, man. How do you feel? I'm like, well, I don't feel any better now that you told me that. But it was a humbling moment to realize that I didn't have my act together, that there was so much more that I needed to learn about business. So that was kind of my day of resolve. And I don't know if my wife can remember this, but I remember going home that day and I looked at her and I said, you know what? Things are going to change today. I'm going to start dedicating a lot more time to the business. I'm going to dedicate actually learning more about being a good business leader. One of the aha moments for me was we did a 360-degree feedback, and that's where I take a survey and I send it to all of my staff members, and they anonymously give back to Lisa, the business coach, the responses, along with business associates that I do business with. And I had that read about me, and here were some of the responses, almost verbatim. Alma is such a nice guy, but man, we have no idea where we're going with the company. Alma treats me so good, but man, he just goes out golfing and we have no idea where he is. Alma's such a great guy, but I sure wish we would grow this business more. Man, what a slap in the face for me. There's so much more I could do. So that was my resolve. I was going to have a company that knew how to get everybody rowing in unison. I love this quote. If you've ever read The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, great book. Not finance, not strategy, not technology. It is teamwork that remains the ultimate competitive advantage, both because it is powerful and so rare. A friend of mine, the founder of a company that grew to $1 billion in annual revenue, best expressed the power of teamwork when he once told me, if you could get all the people in an organization rowing in the same direction, you could dominate any industry and any market against any competition at any time. A fairly powerful statement. But I didn't have that at that time. I didn't have everybody rowing in the same direction because I wasn't leading the ship and rowing there. So, these are the things that I have learned, very basic, very simple, over the last 6 years of working to build the company to 30 million. From 2009 to now, 4 simple things. Invest in yourself and your team. To date, I think I have put about $275,000 of personal investment into me. Just me, not into the stock market, not into somebody else, to me. That's through business coaches, through personal coaches, through organizations that stretch me. And so I've asked my employees, and I asked you guys today, what is the investment that you're putting into yourself? You know, after you finish your college degree and you get into that work environment, is it done? It's like, okay, no longer do I need to invest. I just need to work on my career. Well, good luck. What extra money are you putting into yourself? Do you go to seminars? Do you read books? Knowing your role. For me, to know my specific role, and I'll go into depth with a little more into depth with each of these. Empower, encourage those around you, and then trust in the system. So first one, invest in yourself. These are some of the things that are very basic, simple things that help me out. First is, in the beginning, it was books on dummies. I didn't know how to start a business. I'm the dummy guy that read every single one of those books and learned how to do accounting, learned QuickBooks, learned marketing, learned sales, organizational structure. Heck, I didn't even know what a PowerPoint presentation was. I didn't know what an org chart was. I didn't know any of that stuff. Next was finding a personal coach. It was about 2008 that I had John Alexandrov, personal coach. And again, at this time, I wasn't making a lot of money. I had heard about this guy who had helped sell businesses. He had ran a law firm, had tons of awesome credentials. An individual I knew that used him. And I'm thinking, man, this is so cool. I'm going to find this guy. It'll be like $500 a month, something like that. I meet with John, and we're having this phone call. He lives back in Boston. I'm like, this is the guy that's going to take me there. And then I get the quote, and it was $32,000 for a year. And I'm like, oh, man, I can't do that. But I did. I did it. And it was a great decision. I researched the guy like crazy. I knew about him. I knew the people that had followed him and how he had taken people from this point to that point. So was $32,000 a worthwhile investment per year? Yeah, it was. Absolutely. Then I joined up with the Entrepreneurs Organization Group, and this is a group that has stretched me like crazy. Here I am, I'm meeting with other business owners that are like the business giants and being able to just eat and breathe and live what they do. The next is I found that I had outgrown the things that we were doing with John Alexandrov. I needed someone that helped us, someone that had been able to work with companies that were $100 million companies, $50 million companies. And that's when I joined up with a gal named Lisa Ridley with MAP. Fitness coach. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a point where it's January, I'm going to go out and work out, and I'm going to get this, and it's going to be awesome. And then February, it's like, crap, man, this sucks. What happened? I've been in that same situation. And so I researched online for a guy, I think my Google search was fitness coach that is ballistic on, follow-through, ballistic with accountability or something of the sort. And so here I get my fitness coach that pops up, and I start seeing testimonials about people that have texts that they've posted online about this guy that basically say, Coach, sorry I can't come in. I sprained my ankle. And then his reply is, awesome, we're working on upper body today. That's the kind of coach that I needed. So finding a good coach. Quantum Leap. I recently joined up with another group in entrepreneurs organization in Quantum Leap. It's where your business has to be at least $15 million in revenue. And people that are in that group are people that have $100 million businesses. I joined that because I've never been to $100 million with a business. And that's where I want to go. So who am I going to go join up with? People that have been there. Go sit with the people that have done $100 million and learn about it. Books, YouTube, online tutorials, all that's free, zero money. So invest in yourself. Another thing that I post is my vision board. Every one of my staff members in my company knows my vision board, sits on my desk. I encourage each one of them to have a vision board. It's a magical piece. And really all it does is just tells a story about me and my vision of where I want to go. It has a little bit of business, has a lot of personal, talks about my finances. It talks about the things that I want my children to do. And it's amazing as I look at this, opportunities that just start coming out. Example, the vision board that I had before this, it was for our company. And at the very bottom right of the vision board is we had a picture of an individual that was one of our contractors, our top contractor. We have hundreds of contractors. This is our top guy. And around it, it said, build network of strong contractors. And if you remember the Verizon commercial of the, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? He's got the network of people behind him. So we had put the network of people behind this guy. Not only did we build the network of contractors like that guy, he left his company to come work for us. He never saw my vision board. He had no idea that it was there. I love that it's something like that when you look at it, it happens. Every single item on that past vision board happened. So I encourage my employees, put a vision board together and look at it daily and somewhere that, whether it's in your house, your office, I don't care. Know your role and dominate it. I know my role as a CEO. My president knows his role. My vice president knows his role. Every individual in the company has a laid out understanding of what they're supposed to do within the company. They know their specific measurements. They know how to track their measurements, their KPIs or KSOs or vital factors, whatever you want to call it. They know how their specific responsibilities help the entire department. They know how to work themselves out of their jobs. This is something that I've found in corporate America is people find their job position and they just hoard it. It's like, I don't want anybody to take my job away from me. I'm at the top of the ladder. Now I'm the top of the food chain. The funny thing is, if I had an employee that posted at their desk that they want to be the CEO of Landmark Home Warranty, I'm the CEO. But if they wanted to be the CEO, I would love it. I would love it. I love someone that can, if they can do a better job at being a CEO, I will step away from that job and do something else. And that's the environment that I encourage our staff members. As you work your way out of your job, you have a counterpart or a team member that knows the job just as well as you do. Because for me, someone that is most valuable in my company is someone that knows how to create a process or a system and be able to walk away from that, and it still functions just as well without them. So what can they do? They go to another process and another system that needs to be that's broken and they can fix. Empower those around you and choosing the right people. So this is a more of a personal level, but it has so much to do with business. Back to me getting fat and me like just being a slob and not working out. I needed that the coach. Well, the problem was I started going with my fitness coach, and it gets a little bit lonely not having anybody around you to encourage you, to kind of motivate you, or friends, I guess. And so one of the things that we do at the workout are called dubs. I don't know if you guys know what a dub is. It's a double under where you have to jump rope 2 times. I could not get Dubs to work out. In fact, I'm not going to worry about the video on it, but I would get maybe 3 or 4, and this is my little kids filming me like, Dad, man, you stink. I just could not get it. So what I did, I'm not going to show it, it's horrible. So I needed the extra motivation. I needed some people around me to get me to the next level. I'm not going to show that. So I had my entire executive team sign up to come work out at noon every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Financially, one of the dumbest decisions that I could have ever made as a business owner. Here I'm taking the people that cost the most money in the business, and we're going to go work out for about an hour and a half every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Including showers, it's about 2 hours. But for me, what it allowed me to do is it took my level of exercise to a whole different position. I found myself now competing with other people and being motivated and driven and not missing exercises. And it started creating something in our environment and the workforce that was just the same. We started finding ourselves having a healthy amount of competition in the group. Not exercise, but in business. So, finding people around you that motivate you and get you driving. Number 4 is trusting in the system that you have or that's been created. Whether it's a football team and you're going to Stanford or you're going to a college or a workforce environment, whatever it might be, almost every single one of them has a system, a playbook per se. Our system we use is called the Vital Factor process. Breaking it down, it's how we run that monthly meeting, the daily huddles, the weekly meetings, the one-on-ones, how we put our job descriptions together, how we do our specific planning sessions, how we do the quarterly and annual reviews, how we run the lean process. I mean, all this is stuff that you can find in books. But we have our system in our company. Another organization has their system. But do my employees trust in the system that we've created? And when they can actually trust in the system, it's amazing how much more the organization will flow. So, results driven. Every employee now knows their vital factor, or the one thing that is most important for them to do every single day. In that, if they do it every single day, they will be successful. They know what their specific responsibilities are that lead up to the overall organizational objectives. So here are some of the changes now after following those 4 principles for me personally in my life. Decisions don't really have to come through me unless it's a major root decision, something that could dramatically affect the business. We now know exactly where we're going as a company. 30 million that we'll hit this year, 48 million that we'll hit next year, 100 million that we'll hit in 2020. And we know it to the T. We know exactly what we're going to do. We have a specific vision, mission, values, and direction of the company. You go ask any one of my staff members what the values are of Landmark, and they'll name the 5 values. In fact, we have a little declaration card that before every single meeting, you read the Landmark Declaration. Everyone knows it. Everyone understands it. Whereas back in 2009, you ask my employees, what's the direction? What's the vision? What's the mission? I don't know. Ask Alma. He's the guy that's taking us there. People know what they're supposed to do. They know their job descriptions. You know, before I used to take vacation and it was daddy's on the phone, daddy's busy, daddy's off doing his stuff. Now, I go on vacation and I have other people that take those matters and they resolve those issues for me. It was nice. I mean, this year, Peru for 2 weeks, Europe for 2 weeks, Hawaii for 2 weeks, Taiwan for 2 weeks, Lake Powell for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks. How much? I don't know, something like that. But that entire time, no cell phone. I've got a system in place where people are able to do and know exactly what it is to help the company move forward. No longer am I the bottleneck of the company. We've got the process of hiring, termination, meeting structure, and accountability metrics. You know, it's amazing when putting some of the most basic, simple things together, your organization can run to where you're all rowing in unison. But what I wanted to really get at is it is not an easy road. There were moments, again, admitting yourself to the hospital, buckled down in a corner, crying. But in the end, here's what I get to see. These are some of the most miraculous things that I get to see. I get to see someone that comes into the company that had just come out of a bankruptcy and that's making a couple $100,000 a year now. I get to watch people that have quit smoking because of the influence of the people around them within an organization. I get to watch people that had nothing to do with their church organization and are now fully immersed back into their religion. I get to watch people that are taking vacations that they've never dreamed of. That is my why. That's my purpose. I don't walk into work thinking, oh man, what drives me every day? Because there are some gnarly days. But I wake up just loving what I do because I know that it affects somebody's life and gives them an opportunity to have their life blessed. I hope that through the stories that have been shared, that it wasn't just stuff that's being taught out of a book, that really you can understand about some of the ebbs and flows of starting a business or helping a business grow. So thank you guys for the opportunity, and I'm open for any questions. So I think that's what we're doing. Maybe? Out of time.
We've got,
no more
let's
time.
give Alma a round of applause, though, for being here today. Thanks.